Right, so go ahead and explain the blue tape.
Okay, so when I washed it today, because I was a bit embarrassed about how dirty it was, I remembered your voice in the back of my head saying something about always look at where the dirt line is on the fork. So I put the blue tape there where the dirt line was.
Okay, so then we'll extend, fully extended, so the end of the black tube down to the bottom is, we can go a little more there, can't we? Yeah, 140 mil, but to the bottom of the tape there is 120. So what's your maximum travel, do you know?
I believe it's 120.
So that would suggest that you were repeatedly hitting the bottom.
Now, I do ride over a curb when I pull into my driveway.
Yeah.
So that may be part of it.
It shouldn't be.
When I left home to come here, and I've ridden about 50 kilometres on various roads, I reset this. So where that's sitting is
Where it was. Okay, so go ahead, take a seat. All right, hold the brake on, bounce it a couple times, get our average. So 140 extended and 95 with you on it. So the front is very soft at 45 mathematically. So that would suggest that hitting the curb, because it's so big a sag number, is exactly why it's blowing through the stroke, which could be preload and compression combined or one or the other.
So where should the sag be?
30 to 40 is your ideal. 40 for super plush.
Yeah.
That you are just touring and you want to smell the roses and somebody cutting the grass so that it floats along.
So I realised I've been making a mistake when I've been taking the measurement. When just watching you do it, I've been measuring from the bottom of the dust cap, not the bottom of the fork tube.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking, I've got 33 millimetres of sag, I'm sweet. Whoops.
Oops. But it doesn't matter. Now we found something else out, so that's good. Now we'll measure the back. So we'll go from the bottom of the eccentric up. Yeah, all your weight. All right, so that's 600 even. All right, go ahead, dismount, put it on the kickstand. Now go ahead and stand it up for me, flat, bike under its own weight. So it was 600, let go of your hand. So 30 in the back, and then go ahead, set it on the side stand all the way so the weight's on it. And you have 12 static. So 42 and 45. So it's very plush, very comfortable.
It is.
Okay, so it's bottoming because either preload's too soft or compression's too soft. So the first thing I'm going to look at is your compression damping. So that's down here, Ray. Now, on a couple of the talks you've had while I've been in the tent, we talk about compression and how it works. It manages flow speed. So if you're too far out, it's doing nothing. Right. And generally on these adjusters, 1.5 from closed, it works. Okay, so half, 1.5, 1 3/4. So at this point, I'm going to go half, 1.25.
Oh, now it's got fork oil weight is 0.25 higher than factory speak.
What brand?
Believe it's Spectro.
Spectro, so that's a very light oil in terms of viscosity. So that may also explain why the fork's moving so quickly. So that, at 1.25 to 1 3/4 should make a difference. Now, on the front end, you both know how this should go, so pass or fail.
It's great seeing someone else do it. I would say that's a fail just. It looks like it comes up. And
Right,
down.
what's your judgment?
I'm going to say fail.
Yes.
It comes up too far.
It actually goes into a full second stroke if you look carefully.
Oh, so it does. Yep.
Yep. So we are at half, 1.25, half, 1.25. So we're going to go to 3/4.
That was the measurement I was thinking of.
Yes, it was. Yeah. You were 100%. Nice save.
I did put them all on my phone, and my phone has a flat battery.
So now that's 3/4 from. Let's see if that works. That's a pass. Now let's go out to 1 and 1. Fail. Yep. So let's go 1/8 of that quarter back in.
Only an 8. Okay. I've been going
Pass.
a quarter at a time.
Well, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
How old is this oil in kilometers?
I think I've got about 5,000 k's till I next service everything in the front of the bike.
Okay, so then on an executive decision,
Yeah, time to do it.
let's go another 1/8. You have 3/4 of a turn left. And at this point, if you look at the wear on the tire, the leading edge is worn down and the trailing edge is straight. So that's worn, that's straight, and this is higher than that if you run your finger that way. So you may actually need, in real time, half a turn out when the fork oil is screaming hot.
And it is cold as now.
So then we make that executive decision based on age or kilometers used as to what the right setting is going to be. Front tire pressure?
Will be 38 or 37.
Right, so the pressure's high enough where the tire's not flexing and causing that wear. So pressure's out. Yes. Right, so then in the back, let's bring our light. So first thing to check is static, which we measured out. So now we just want a visual representation of that. Put the screwdriver away so I don't stab myself. So set it and lift. So anytime you can pick a bike up, that lift should be 10 to 15. You were 12, so you're in the middle. Now as far as the bounce goes, it can't double bounce like the front end. Pass or fail.
I would say it's a fail. I've seen it.
Look at the turn signal against my jeans.
Oh, wow.
So
When I do this myself, I can't see the double bounce. So.
you can't, it's really hard. So your current setting is 2 1/4.
Yep.
So we're going to go 1/2, 1 1/4. Again, watching the turn signal against my jeans.
No bounce.
Right. Now, the shock oil is old. Ray, if you come over, and you can see exactly the same wear on the rear tire. That's worn down and that is straight, and this way that is higher than that. The other interesting thing for me on the rear tire, that's about the right angle, is that when you're riding, this gray line is reasonably straight, but the upside down sky and clouds is all over the place. So what's the shock doing? That's what creates all those upside down clouds.
Right, because it was too fast and it's floating around. Yep.
Yep. So when you're on the gas, you get it back into control. But when you're
It loves being on the gas. Yeah.
yes, all these big bikes do. But as you're going into the corner, it's pogoing. So if you look at the shiny part, it's highly irregular. Right?
Okay.
So that tells you your rebound's off. So the tires can't lie, they can only tell you a truthful story.
Finally, there's a good reason to have chicken strips.
I always have chicken strips, even on my race bike. If I can't win at 95%, it's not my day. So rebound every 1,000 to 1,200 Ks is going to go out. Hence, I've said go for a test ride. Get it hot and then go, okay, decelerate. Dunk. Ooh. Yeah, that's too fast. Quarter turn. Dunk. Quarter turn more. I don't move. Yes. And then on the bars, if they go this way, with your left hand loose, either direction, doesn't matter, right or left, the bar pushes that way in a long radius corner at a set speed, it's too fast. So you can push test it, and you can ride test it for validation.
And on the way here, I did notice a couple of sweepers where it was pushing back into my left-hand corner, was pushing me in the left hand, just a little bit.
Yep. So now the whole bike's stable. Classroom. We'll see if that holds true outside over the next couple of days while you readjust to how this feels, because it's going to be dramatically different. The only other thing we have not done is preload. So let's check where you are. So preload, you always count out. Hydraulics, you count in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Close enough. So because you were getting close, we made a profound change on compression. So we're going to go to 7.5 and make a subtle change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Okay, so now tire pressures stay the same. Ride normally and see where it goes. If you find your travel tie is here, then that's a little too much of a buffer for safety. Ideally, we want 20-25 mil, so that will be better. But if you find now with those changes, you consistently up here, it's too stiff. So you'll take a 1/4 turn out there and test it, and then you'll go back 1.5 turns here and test that. But they will be on separate days.
Right.
Or
So
if you're
start with the damping.
Start with the damping.
Yep, separate days.
Now, if you want to do it on a ride, because you're having a test ride, then 1/4 out, go for 20 Ks. Feel the overall difference, see where the travel goes. Then go the 1.5 turns out, reset, ride again for 20 Ks, see where you're at. If between the pair of them you're more plush and you're more comfortable and you're here, then we still have that safety buffer. And so at that point you're perfect for the next 800 to 1,000 Ks. And as the oil wears down and moves faster, where's that zip tie going? Yep, so after about 700 Ks you might be here riding exactly the same. Because it's on the right fork leg, you see it every day. So, job done, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's
You
been
are
years.
welcome.
I've been waiting for years.